Hey everyone, nice to see you back in this video. And today I will be attempting kind of new type of content. I'm gonna be reviewing my own first novel cycle uh, and sharing my thoughts about it. It's gonna be from a point of view as like I'm a reader, a third person, but maybe with some spoilered author's comments. And let's start. Maybe in the end I will make some like author remarks if I will have. I don't know how it will go. So we have my first novel cycle, which is named What is Happiness? I have my laptop over here with open text, and here I'm recording the camera. Let's start with Daisy, shall we? Now, from all the novels, it has more complicated structure. It has foreword, it has chapters, but how do I... Sure, there is chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, and epilogue. The size of the novel is... I need to open it in Word. Daisy, where are you? Let's see. 2,200. So 2,200 words. That's, I would say, for this kind of structure. Small remark. I am reviewing kinda like a random reader, not like an author. I don't know if you will like this format, but I want to do it like myself. And yeah, I'm kinda like a reader, but the reader that kinda knows everything about my creative universe. Okay, let's move on. So for this kind of novel with 2,200 words, maybe this kind of structure is overkill. 6 chapters, a foreword is fine. Epilogue is also fine, but 6 chapters might be overkill. Could be scaled down to 3 or 4, maybe even 2. Depends on how author would see it. This is first work of the author in terms of novels. The style is very good. It's very easy and simple to follow, yet provides some nice descriptions. For example, the morning routine of the main character is pretty short, but it still gives some sense and partial feeling of routine. And also the way of the main character from home to the school is also just a few sentences, but it still gives a nice feeling of this atmosphere that she's indulged in, that she's covered, enveloped, and it gives pretty nice feeling to the reader as well, while not being too long of a description. Chapter forward, can't say much, just like a forward, maybe grasps reader's attention, attracts. Chapter 1, I like this first phrase. If someone's morning starts with coffee, then that's definitely not me. Chapter 1, then how the main character arrives to school, pretty well done. Not to say, Nicholas, interesting name, room 32, probably that's not author's reference, although in the first chapter we find actually a reference, possible reference to pop culture. when she was eating her cereal, hurriedly stuffing herself with dry cereal from a box featuring some kind of bee. And this might give us how to say, a hint that this is what we're talking about. Girliepops, reference to some popular culture. Wow. Then short conversation from where we get that the Vicky is kind of an outcast in her world. She has troubles with socially connecting with other people, although it a bit lacks depth. This could be explained more. Why is she feeling like that? What's the issue? But we get from very beginning that there's some troubles going on with her mother, with her parents further on, and also with some people. But we also we get that she likes to dress up more, let's say, intricate, maybe vulgar. Oh, look, the pink brigade has arrived. Couldn't you wear a shorter skirt? But it's also clear that Vicky is a very strong character herself, and she doesn't give a damn about all those comments. And she was also a very creative person because she has her notebook where she writes her poems, lessons. The description of school, I can't say much about it. It's just all right. Doesn't spark anything inside of me particular. Lady routine, that's interesting how the routine is described as a real life person. Then the way home, the road home from school, again, it was very short, as mentioned, but it still gives some overview of how it is done, and it's done pretty well. Author did a pretty good job of putting a good description in a very small amount of writing piece. Then, of course, the sun, the daisy, where everything happens. I'm gonna put on this video that there are spoilers, but still, I'm not gonna spoil like in the video, or like straightly drop it on you, my dear listener. So just when the thing happens, it happens. Nothing very particular, not described a lot. Maybe that's like sufficient amount. Then home, the rain outside, thousands of droplets. New Orleans, and this is also true. New Orleans is near the coast, and it pretty much often rains there, so no mismatch over here. Textbook stuff, world of dreams, and there comes the crazy scene. Overall, not my favorite scene in this particular novel, because it's just, well, it's described maybe well, but the author didn't have very nice time describing it, but it still was needed to reach the desired outcome of the novel. However, still pretty sufficient, can't say much. The sobbing part, how the character is experiencing a mental breakdown after what the character had done, is described pretty interesting and well as a perspective, nice one, but could be described more. Then gives the hint about Uncle John, which probably could interest a reader, like who the hell is that Uncle John that would understand this kind of behavior. Then she packs up to leave her house. She leaves the house, and of course chapter 5, she takes one item lastly, which might actually even spark readers' attention more, like why the hell does she need that item? What is she gonna do with it? Some might think for self-defense, but some might think maybe she's gonna do something crazy. And chapter 6, of course, I would say my favorite, absolute cinema, how it's described. Also very emotional. The author tried to give a lot of emotionality in here. Very very mildly, even some like sorrow touched my soul as a reader, like even some maybe crying emotion sparked, but not so much, because we still got attracted to the character, and the character is attracting reader. She is unusual, she has a conflict with all other world, and many readers can find resemblance with the character and themselves. So the ending, the epilogue might be very actually sad for some people more. Epilogue is, I think, written pretty good, very short again, but delivers the point. Very interesting writing style. But clearly, as we see further on, it a bit changes as author tries to experiment. We need a rating also. And then overall rating of the series. Okay, Daisy. Daisy, it's 8.5 or 8 for me. What lacks is more description of the backstory of the character. For some it might not be needed, but for me it lacked. And a bit more maybe description after the character done what she had done, and after that the events, like how to say, they were slowly climbing up, but the descent, like let's say they were slowly climbing up, then the night, it was a very sharp descent, but it wasn't to the very bottom. Then they started climbing up as it happened, all the aftermath, and Vicky was packing to leave the house, but then the events ended so fast that reader didn't even have like what happened, just like a pew flashlight. It is the end. So the end is very fast for me, and there is no backstory. And maybe also like connection, like why does the character have this connection with the other world? Why is she like that? It's 8.5 or 8. I'm gonna be, but I still also include into the grade score, which, like, what emotions did it spark inside of me. I will put 8. It's still a pretty good piece of writing. Now let's move to Smile. Absolute cinema. I think in this novel cycle it is the strongest piece of writing, and by far the best that author has ever produced, because in this the whole piece, it like flows from scene to scene, and all those thoughts, they are not like very childish, they also seem somewhat mature, as author has experienced something in the life, and okay, in his life, because author is male, and just the flow and how it came out, it almost feels like author just sat down and wrote the entire piece in one sitting, no matter how long it took him, maybe a few hours, maybe a whole day, but it felt just like water, like a waterfall, just flowing through the everything. Nice start, very calm. Then the whole novel has this calm, this mindful thinking, well thought through vibe, and it just feels amazing. I don't even know what to say. Even the ending, although it's like pretty short and it ends not it kind of is a sharp contrast between the scene when the girl, actually she doesn't have a name in this series, when the girl is standing in the water, and then the evening, and she's reading a book. Still, yet it is a very sharp transition. If it happened, for example, in Daisy, I would say that's a mistake of author. But here, it is pretty nice, and it just feels as a whole piece. Without further ado, I'm gonna put 10 points out of 10. To Smile, it is just amazing. It's just... And the last word in this novel is a smile. It ends with a name that this novel has. Just pure piece of art. Ellie. Let's start. Masha was going from a dance class, pretty actually somewhat normal scene, nothing else. And then I did not really like the description of the town, to be honest. Then the red lights come. Actually, I didn't see how other novels had... Okay, Daisy had 2200 words. You know what, I'm not gonna be checking the word count because that's too nerdy. I just checked it, I guess, for Daisy, yeah, because it had like chapters, and for 2200 words, that's like overkill, having all those chapters. Red Eyes add some kind of interest, because otherwise it would have been a very boring and usual novel, but maybe you could say then it would be like Smile, but no, Smile, the writing style and the flow is just phenomenal, unconventional, and this is just like average. And then the test starts, blah blah blah, then the frozen lake, it even is more interesting, however nothing interesting very much. Still the conversation between them two. Here it is third novel that author has published, and like insider information, maybe it is third novel that author has written overall, and all the novels, they go in order as author wrote them. So here we can see that in first one, author tried to include some dialogues between characters, but still was not sure if he wanted to do that. In Smile, it was more like internal conversation, which is all right. And in The Alley, we see that for the third time, author tries to add some dialogues, which are longer than usual. They're still a bit awkward. They're just, at some point, there's just like pew 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 line, and just their replics, no like clarifications, how they acted, how they said different stuff. So it's still a bit awkward, but author tries it. Best part is when the Martha saves, because of course we know it's that Martha that is our precious Martha. That is the most interesting part for a reader as me to discover, oh, that's Martha, that's the Martha, wow. After that it starts, the read starts more interesting, but Martha appears and reveals herself in the last 40% or even 35% of the novel. So yeah, but where could this interaction take place? And actually I would assume that the lake where Again, don't know anything, but maybe I got some insider information that the lake where Masha was running was actually a frozen lake up in the hills near the White Rock Castle. The same White Rock that we all know. And then she took Masha actually to a vampire realm, to like just a random spot, not particularly her place where she lives, but it suggests us that it could have been possibly a vampire realm, because that's like in she definitely teleported her somewhere because there was some weird beast, and that could have been very easily vampire realm, because in all other realms it's kind of forbidden to have just humans from Earth walking around casually. So the only place where she could have taken Masha is vampire realm. And they have dialogue. She saved her, which is unusual. Martha like tells her character more, but the end is very very little. The best part is literally when Masha woke up, when Martha saved her in that bubble bath, and their dialogue after that. That's literally the best part of the alley. That feels nice somewhat, but the dialogues before and overall it's very mid. I would put it 6 or even 5. I'm not sure. Maybe even 5. Because the writing style also drops, especially compared to Smile. Yes, we see that author tried to show us different characters and used different writing style for different character, and that makes kind of sense, but in the other way it doesn't work really much. Okay, let's see. The dialogue part is very solid. Martha introduction, of course, interesting. Beginning very usual, pretty boring. Red Eyes makes something interesting, but also not very well written. It's like you don't really want to read that. It's like meh, but still pretty interesting. Then that. Red Eyes sparkled. Masha walked away home slowly, keeping her gaze on the moon. I'm gonna put for now 5.5. That just it is as it is. Let's move to Snowflake. The same character as in Smile, writing style is kinda the same, although I would say Smile was still the peak content, because Smile literally felt like it was written in one place, max locked in from author, and Snowflake is still very decent, but it's not a 10, I think. Yeah, again, some thoughts. Winter this time. That time it was summer, so like we also get the description from the same character about winter, which is pretty interesting to see. Then the stuff. Here is actually reference physics while I stand bored at the answer. And the first snigger behind me. Kepler, stop holding the class back. And wait, did the well we get from the where Snowflake, we get from the novel that the hero actually likes winter. Let me reconfirm it. But winter's got its own charm. Sure, some people find it, but in winter most people no one's. I'm seeing this or not. So yeah, winter's got its perk, even if they're not obvious. Wait. There was a reference. How did I... Oh yes, guys. Physics class. And then Zach calls her. Her surname is Kepler. And we see from AI overview that Johannes Kepler was a German astronomer and a mathematician best known for his laws of planetary motion. Hence, universal gravitation. So that's physics, and that's the reference, physics class, and her surname is Kepler, but that's kind of hard one, I think. Only I noticed that. Then kids these days, park is pretty nice, footsteps nice, everything still flows pretty good, not much to say. The same red eyes, the same she goes for a save, kinda like Ellie, but in a different setting context, different threat. It feels like Ellie, but with a writing level of smile. So I'm gonna put it 8.5, I think. But it's not better than Daisy though. It's not better than Daisy. Okay, then Ellie will be 5 and Snowflake will be 7 for now. Let's move to Frost. Here it's a total experiment. 3 weeks had passed, then we get a first kind of like new introduction in the very first sentences. A nightmare, a Victor laughing, and later we find out that Victor is the guy who leaked private photos of Masha. Setting here feels actually for me better than in Snowflake, because Snowflake is just like about everything and nothing and everything at the same time. Ellie felt very mid, but Frost, the description of morning and the views behind Masha's glass, the window, are actually described well. Soviet kindergarten. She talks about her childhood. Here, unlike in Daisy, in second novel we get some more feedback about the character, what's going on with her, a bit more like backstory, why is she like that. Gray clouds. Then absolute experiment. She has a poem inside of a novel, and it's kind of like a Masha tells it. So that's a first crazy experiment. Then morning routine, we actually described pretty well in this cold conditions. And then a messenger text. That's also something completely new. I would say it's kind of like hit or miss, and it's more was a hit. It works. It's not perfect, but as an experiment, I would say it worked. Then Blackpink t-shirt, and then we get that kinda, the character here is in Russian is called Altushka. That's like alternative girl, so kinda she's like unconventional and not like others, and that implies her being morally different or dressing differently or just having her own style, not conventional one. Moccasins for the winter, yeah, that's weird. Then she's shouting on that grandma. Was that a grandma? That must have been. I guess there was a grandma, no? Yeah, grandma. Then she ran to the guy. Actually, I'm thinking right now, I'm gonna put 9 for Daisy. I think it deserves 9 still. I'm gonna put 8 for Snowflake, because I already think I'm gonna put 7 for this one. Like, Ellie is the worst. Smile is perfect, but Daisy, actually, I was pretty critical. I think the most important about Daisy is that it grabs the attention. It kind of makes you want to read. Sure, the right is not as good as in Smile, but it's good in its own way, that it kind of is like a bit action telling. I'm not a bit, it's there is plenty of action. But let's move on to Frost. So Daisy 9, and yeah, it deserves it. She yelled, Victor, is that you? Yeah, it's me, Masha. Well, that conversation with Victor is like crazy. She wanted to kill him. Okay, she might be mentally unstable, but she must be then a total psycho. She wanted to kill him, but then she's like, oh no, you actually wanted to talk to me. I'm gonna kill myself. What is that? The ending is crazy. We can sure say maybe Martha used some of her magic, but what the hell is that? And she's so dramatic. She kills herself. She's like, ah. No. No, the ending is cringe. Masha's room spilled, yeah, some crying, some nothing. Together, up in the kindergarten window, two red eyes glowed, soft dripping, seeing tears. Martha can cry. I mean, we know that, but she can. And then the experiment, it's again a poem, but kind of also a song. Madness, in Russian Bezumia, and it's scribbled in the keyboard, on the keyboard of in the notebook of Masha's room. She also wrote poems, and that's complete experiment. And there is a full-scale song here. I believe I also sang it in my video, but don't watch it. Don't. So here, descriptions are way better than in Alley. I would say here, author delivers. In Alley, did not. Here, delivered. Descriptions, good. Action, good. Not boring. Contrast between description / action. As for short story. Ending, on the other hand, horrible. And also experiments. So which are a poem inside a short story, a kind of attempt of author to create not only dialogue but explore further, like a text messages conversation. And third, a song inside of a short story. All that three. Now let's move on. Let's think. Text conversation is well done as for attempt. I'm just like reviewing in my head. The poem is also hit, delivered. It was actually pretty good. It wasn't very long, but it was nice. Clouds, oh clouds, so sly up there, stir me up if you dare. Playful clouds, so light, so free, toss a hint down to me. I know, I dream too high, hoping for your soft reply. But silence is all I'll get, I bet. Cry about it, not yet. I actually like this poem. It has nice rhythm. If you read it, like it can be read in playful tone, it can be read slowly, fast. The poem is great itself. But I think the song in the end is total flop. It's total absolute garbagillion. Okay, actually maybe it won't be 7. It will be 6.5. It's either 7 or 6.5. It's not too bad as 6. It's like if we compare it to Alley, like, okay, Smile is top, like it's 10, deserved. Daisy is a bit worse for me than Smile, but still top. Snowflake is worse than Daisy and then Smile, but still pretty good. Alley is, for now, absolute garbage. Sorry, Alley. Sorry. But this one, let's think, is it like a bit worse than Snowflake? Or it's more towards Ellie? If I want to be realistic, I guess it's 6 for now. Maybe I'll change the rating when I will be rating final. And epilogue. Okay, let's go. The same person that in Snowflake and Smile, writing style is the same. This time, actually, a contrast, which I also already take as a good thing, is that she's not more so descriptive and thinking about how world is made up, but no, this time there's an internal struggle inside of the character, and that is interesting to see that character having an internal struggle. It's more natural because, for example, in Ally, we just get Masha introduced and then she suffers completely. In Daisy, it's kind of mid. We get her introduced and we get to like her or not, and then the ending is the ending. But here it's more like natural way. It's like, it's interesting. This time it's spring outside. I guess it's not written down in the book, but it again insider information. Yeah, she fell asleep. Sand, Sahara Desert. Actually, that's not a Sahara Desert. So there are 6. Actually, did I translate it? Oh, I did, I guess. Oh no. So that is not Sahara Desert. It's one of the 6 worlds. It's this like forever lands or everlands. How did I... Wait. Infinity Lands? Infinite Lands. Did I actually write it like that? I guess I did. I don't remember very well. I went through so much content. Infinite. We couldn't find what you were looking for. Okay, let's check in Tale of Day and Night. Infinite. Yeah, Infinite Lands. Yeah, right. Okay. Infinite Lands. That I did translate it. Yes, just yes. Then a reference. The wind carried a faint piece of something sharp, like a syringe, I guess. Yes, that's the syringe from Daisy. Then meet up with Martha. I love the description of ocean and this like picture of, you know, how to say, like this picture, desert, wind, then the ocean storming, and then just in the far there, Martha sitting herself. Actually, Masha was kind of interesting one because Martha revealed her name to only Masha with Vicky. I mean, she didn't meet Vicky, and this character, she also didn't reveal the name, but this character was more smart. You might ask why did the character run. I think it's because like it's she was running to prove that she is worthy. As she said, you ran not from you ran towards something, not away from me. She ran toward her own dignity, the values she stood for, to prove maybe to herself, but not away from Martha. Eminently, as Martha said it, and maybe character just ran away from her. But that was the intention, by the way. I think that was the intention that author had. Couldn't move. I mean, then the wake up back in the town, very cozy atmosphere. Then the letter again, author keeps trying to attempt something new, but I think Frost has been the peak of attempts to how to say, peak of attempts to do the, how to say, oh my god, Frost was the peak of attempting different stuff. Here I think it fits amazing. I mean, attempting the letter and like this letter style, kind of like writing down style, and then the small poem to spark your life anew once more, like flames that dance on night's dark shore. Hold tight these words I leave behind, Daisy Frost, and smiles you'll find. Snowflake and Alley didn't fit in, I guess because they were too long and all those 5 words, they wouldn't fit the rhythm, because if it was hold tight these words I leave behind, Daisy, smile, snowflake, Alley and Frost you'll find, that wouldn't be so nice fitting. And the description of the city, it seems a bit out of context, because actually, okay, I will say it in my later comments, it seems very solid, very nice, this like kinda epilogue to everything, this description of the sprawling vast city and its life. And the end, I smiled. For the first time in few months, she was gone, the girl in the red dress, leaving me this chance, and I wouldn't waste it, not this shot, not this loud, ugly, beautiful place staring back at me through the window glass. It's not 10. I am instantly saying I'm gonna put 9. And why 9? Because it is for me as good as Daisy, because it is the end, and the end is done pretty, let's say, unique way. Like there's not something happening with Martha, maybe. It's, or actually maybe no, that's expected, that Vicky is, Masha is, and she's the only one left behind, so the reader would probably expect the story would say something about her, but probably wouldn't expect it would end like this, because reader would also expect she would die as well, but she did not. And why 9? It is as good as Daisy for me. It is end, and the end is important, and the end is done well. The same as opening of this cycle. Daisy as opening novel, amazing. It has all. It has description, it has nice writing style, it has action, it has everything basically. Other novels in the middle were actually not as good. I mean, Smile was, but it was more towards beginning. The ending is solid, it is nice. It is not as good as Smile for me still. Smile feels like one piece, but Daisy, absolute cinema. I put 9. And I think for now I'm gonna leave this course. I'm gonna sum up in the very end, but right now, author comments. I mean, I kind of tried to imply them in the review. Smile, it was indeed like that. I just, some random Daisy, I think most people say Daisy is my best novel because they like the how it goes. They say it's amazing piece of writing, but I don't like it personally because I don't connect to it as much. Like, I wrote a good story, but me as author, I don't like it as much. So like, first I wanted to put less, but it's like 9. Sure, it can be 9. Probably, like, objectively put, it is 9. I mean, on my scale. But Daisy was just like, it was just like, I created a story, and that was it. I didn't have much connection to it. Yes, there was reference to Meal Pops, the Kellogg's cereal. Room 32 doesn't represent anything. Then there was, wait, true, in that case it would have been inhabited by some giant bees, but that's probably a whole different story. That is actually a reference for myself. It was my first ever novel, and all these novels were my all first ever novels I tried to make in my life. So actually, as they go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it happened in life how I wrote them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see changes in my style writing and maybe writing behavior. This bees is actually was my first attempt to write a novel. I was writing about, I guess, a boy that actually maybe I could even find it somewhere. But I was attempting to write about a boy that came into bee realm. It's not like bee movie, but it's just like boy that went into magical other dimension where bees live. And I started to write it. And actually I think I got not far in it, but it has been a pretty solid start of the story. But then I dropped it. So here actually, when I reread, I even forgot about it. I was like, oh my god, yeah, that's the first ever piece of writing I tried to write. And yeah, here it is. Lady Routine, September Sun, New Orleans, nothing here interesting. Uncle John, the legend. Yeah, now let's go to Smile. Absolute Cinema. It was actually the whole Smile. It's me. It's just, I literally went on a walk in June and I felt so connected with the world that I just laid down it on the paper and it came out like that. Absolute Cinema. I still think, people like this, but I still think Smile is so good. I didn't beat it. Like by level of writing, I did not beat it. And I don't necessarily have to. It's like it has its own niche. The book is different, you can't compare them both, but how I feel about it, Absolute Cinema, and that's like 100% just my thoughts on the paper. Sure, I'm not a girl, but just I changed the character for the adaptation of this novel cycle. Ali, again, I don't connect to it. I guess after I wrote Daisy and Smile, I became lazy and I didn't want to continue with this novel cycle, but I kind of forced myself to write it. And you could see it by the writing, but then I was like, okay, I need to save it somehow, and I introduced Martha in Alley, because she was supposed to be introduced in Snowflake. But in Alley, I already did it because Alley was so bad for me. That yeah, I just made it a bit more interesting as Martha took her. She actually ran near White Rock Castle in location wise, and she took her to Vampire Realm. Not specifically stated where, just to the capital, and she just went to some random bathroom. She's a daughter of the main guy in Vampire World. She can do whatever she wants. Red Eyes, yeah, and also it has no relation to me at all. It's just, yeah, it's 5. Snowflake, again, I went on a walk in winter. I guess 2 or even 1 day, I guess I went 1 day before New Year. On 30th of December, I went for a walk and literally I laid out my walk. I did encounter a homeless person, but he just came towards me. He didn't have any bottle. He was just like, so I said like, chill, but he did not chill. So I not ran. Okay, sure, I ran away from a homeless person because it also was dark, but the bench, everything, 100% real. I mean, Martha, not real. But then comes the introduction. It's pretty solid piece of writing. I have connection to it again. Then comes again second novel about Masha, and there I had a very big problem because I was like, okay, I gotta a bit fix up Masha's storyline. So I locked in, I tried experiments. I actually tried, as I said, dialogues. I tried in Alid and Snowflake. I mean, it's all awkward, but it is what it is. Some different writing techniques. Then I tried to put in a poem. Then I tried to put text messages, a song. I thought it would make it more interesting and attractive, as it would outstand compared to others. It does outstand, but my point was that it would outstand, that other people would read it and would read it for that it outstands. But I think no one would really reread Frost. I mean, maybe I will receive some comments after I upload this video and you will say, yeah, I would. So that would be nice. I mean, yeah, that's Frost. The song in the end, absolute flop. I experimented. I tried more into description. Kinda is a piece of writing. You can tell I tried hard to make it right, and I had motivation to do it. But in the end, the storyline was kinda fucked from the very beginning, and yeah, just yeah, no. Mm-mm. I don't have much to comment on it, honestly. Just like I tried, but I guess I did not manage. And the epilogue, actually, some lore. Epilogue is also based on real story. I went on a actually, I wrote Daisy in 2020 in September, so that matches the time and place how it was written. I wrote Smile in June 2021. I wrote Alley in somewhere in November, I guess, like late autumn 2021. Then I wrote Snowflake in actually I wrote it like on 30. I think I wrote it either in the same day in December, but I'm not sure I managed to, so probably in the January already 2022. The same for Frost. It came after Snowflake in like February. And then Epilogue. Well, the war started, Russia attacked Ukraine, and I went to Europe, to Warsaw actually, come study here, Tartu, where I'm right now, and I wrote Epilogue. It's saying in here, a big stone of worry about tomorrow weighed on my heart. Again, with this hero that she doesn't have a name because I didn't want to give it to her because it's kind of me, my thoughts, my character, but on the paper. And what was tomorrow? I don't remember the exact date, but before my 18th birthday, I left Ukraine like 15th June or something like that. And one day before I left it, for right now over 3 years, like so fourth year has been since I left my home, and I indeed went on that walk, and I have my favorite bench and favorite park and favorite neighborhood where I came often to write my stuff. I wrote Smile partially on the bench. I wrote Snowflake also partially on that bench, but not much because it was very cold. But Smile I even partially wrote on that very same bench that is described. So I really, one day before I left Ukraine, I went up, I went to that bench and I sat there and I thought, what am I gonna do next? So that's the same struggle in the soul of the lyrical character. I don't just character. Maybe I would have written more novels, but yeah, I just didn't feel like I would wanna, so I just cut it off. And yeah, that's it basically. I what here? Encounter with Martha. Desert. I wouldn't say it's very special, but I really try to put my soul into the ending as this like letter and small poem in original, of course, because it was written a while in Russian. I still like translated it to make sure it's as in real life it was in original way, and then the description of city did not exist. I wrote it actually, and you can see this is the same style that I heavily use in the book. So this is kinda where I got on track of that writing style description, very like nice description, which I use in writing my book. Here it is where it all started. And the ending, I smile for the first time. My own personal life struggle is only the beginning, the other is like imagined. But I'm happy for the like character that her life turned out well. Now I'm gonna calculate the average rating of my novel cycle and sum up. So that's basically 7.83. I guess I'm not gonna, okay, whatever, average, let it rest there. Daisy, 9, Smile, 10, Alley, 5, Snowflake, 8, Frost, 6, and Epilogue, 9 out of 10. Wow, it has been almost an hour, but I try to be like generous in my descriptions. That was it. Oh yes, and also it was not Sahara Desert. Those were infinite lands, one of the 6 realms that is actually has been not described in the book yet, but in the novels, and that's kind of insight for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I will get feedback at least from my favorite viewer. I'm sure he will watch this video at some point, and I guess I'm gonna do more videos like that because it's just fun and interesting for me. I hope it was also interesting for you. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. It was nice to see you all, and I'll see you soon, guys. Don't be sad. I will update you with whatever content that comes to my mind. Okay, bye bye. Have a nice day, everyone.